You see, everybody want to win, but nobody want to change. You wake up every morning complaining about your life, complaining about your job, complaining about your situation, complaining about what you don't have. But let me ask you something. When was the last time you did something about it? When was the last time you said, enough is enough? I'm done talking. It's time to move. Because listen to me. Complaining doesn't change your life. It keeps you stuck in the same place, doing the same thing, living the same story. You can cry, you can blame, you can make excuses all you want, but at the end of the day, your life will not change until you do. I'm talking to somebody right now who's been waiting for a miracle, waiting for someone to come save them. But let me tell you something, ain't nobody coming. The change you're waiting for, it's inside you. You got the power, you got the potential, but as long as you keep complaining, you're killing your own growth. So today is the day you stop talking about what's wrong and start working on what's next. You don't get stronger by whining, you get stronger by grinding. You don't get better by blaming, you get better by building. Stop complaining, start changing. Because your future is waiting, but it won't wait forever. You wake up every day, and before your feet even touch the ground, you already got something to complain about. The alarm clock goes off, and instead of being thankful for another day, you sigh, you groan, you hit snooze. You talk about how tired you are, how nothing ever changes, how life keeps throwing problems at you. But what you don't realize is that every single time you open your mouth to complain, you're feeding your pain and starving your progress. You're rehearsing your problems instead of rewriting your purpose. You're talking about what's wrong instead of thinking about what you can do to make it right. Complaining is comfort. It's easy. It feels good for a second because it lets you blame something else, someone else, anything else except you. But that's exactly why it's dangerous. Because as long as you're complaining, you're convincing yourself that you're powerless. You're telling your mind that the situation owns you. You're saying, it's not my fault, so it's not my fight. But the truth is, if you keep waiting for someone else to fix it, you'll be waiting forever. When you complain, you give energy to the problem instead of the solution. Every complaint you make builds a wall between where you are and where you want to be. You don't even see it happening because it feels like you're just venting, just talking. But over time, those words become habits. Habits become attitudes, and attitudes shape your entire life. If you want to change your circumstances, you got to change your conversation. Stop talking about what you can't control and start focusing on what you can. If your job drains you, stop complaining about your boss and start sharpening your skills. If your health is falling apart, stop blaming genetics and start making better choices. If your dream feels far away, stop saying it's impossible and start taking one step every single day toward it. Complaining is like sitting in a rocking chair. You move, but you don't go anywhere. You feel like you're doing something because you're expressing your frustration, but deep down, you know you're just staying in the same spot day after day. And listen, I get it. Life hits hard. Sometimes it's unfair. Sometimes people really do you wrong. But here's the truth. Pain doesn't disappear because you complain about it. It disappears because you learn from it, you grow through it, and you use it to build something stronger. You keep telling the same sad story and expect a different ending. At some point, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, this is on me. Not in a way that makes you feel guilty, but in a way that makes you feel empowered. Because when it's your fault, it means you can fix it. When it's your responsibility, it means you've got the power to change it. The moment you take ownership, everything changes. The energy shifts. Your focus sharpens. You stop wasting time on things you can't control and start working on the things you can. You stop playing the victim and start playing the victor. Complaining drains your energy, but responsibility fuels it. Think about it. When you complain, you're focusing on lack. When you take responsibility, you're focusing on possibility. When you complain, you're repeating the problem. When you take charge, you're rewriting the solution. That's how transformation starts, not with words, not with excuses, but with action. Most people don't realize that complaining is just disguised fear. You complain because you're scared to face what needs to be done. You talk about how unfair it is because it's easier than doing the work. You say things never change because that way you don't have to try. But here's the reality. Nothing changes until you do. If you want a better life, stop waiting for it and start creating it. Stop expecting someone to hand you your breakthrough. You have to build it. Every small choice, every small habit, every single day. You got to wake up with purpose and say, I'm done wasting energy on what's wrong. I'm putting all my focus on what I can make right. When you complain, you feed your excuses. But when you take responsibility, you feed your strength. You can't grow in the same environment that keeps you comfortable. Complaining keeps you comfortable because it gives you an excuse to stay still. But change happens when you get uncomfortable, when you stop blaming your past, your parents, your circumstances, your luck, and you start asking, what can I do right now to move forward? That's when growth begins. That's when power returns. The reason so many people stay stuck isn't because they don't have potential. It's because they're too busy defending their limitations. Every time you say, I can't, you're building a case against your own greatness. Every time you say, it's not fair, you're handing your power to the problem. You gotta stop giving energy to what drains you and start giving energy to what drives you. Look around you. The people who succeed, the ones who rise from nothing, they've all had reasons to complain. Some of them had less than you. Some of them were broken, lost, defeated, but they made a choice. They said, I'm not gonna waste one more breath blaming the world. I'm gonna build something out of this. They turned their complaints into commitment. They turned their pain into power. And the only difference between them and everyone else is that they decided to own their situation. They didn't wait for change. They became the change. You got to do the same, because as long as you keep saying, I can't, life will keep showing you why you can't. But the moment you say, I will, life starts opening doors you didn't even know existed. Your life right now is a reflection of your mindset. If all you do is focus on problems, you'll find more problems. If you focus on possibilities, you'll find solutions. You can't grow in negativity. You can't build from bitterness. You have to rise above it. Every complaint you make is a brick in the wall that separates you from your goals. Every time you take responsibility, you tear that wall down. And the more you do it, the freer you become. Responsibility isn't a burden. It's liberation. Because the moment you say, it's my job to fix this, you stop waiting for permission. You stop asking for validation. You stop expecting life to change magically. You take control of your story. Complaining will never move you forward. Action will. Ownership will. The power is already in you, but you can't tap into it until you stop wasting it on excuses. You can't climb higher if your hands are full of blame. Let go of it. Use that same energy to build, to move, to grow. Because the truth is, the moment you stop complaining, you stop being a prisoner of your circumstances and start becoming the author of your destiny. Everybody says they want success. Everybody talks about change. But when it's time to put in the work, most people disappear. They got dreams that sound good, goals that look good on paper. But when it's time to grind, when it's time to sacrifice, when it's time to wake up early and stay up late, suddenly the motivation fades. You see, it's easy to say you want to change. It's easy to say you want better, but your actions gotta match your words. You can't pray for change while practicing the same habits that keep you stuck. You can't talk about elevation while surrounding yourself with the same negativity that pulls you down. If you want to transform your life, it's not going to happen because you wished it. It's going to happen because you worked for it. You say you want success, but do you really want it as bad as you want to breathe? Because that's the level it takes. It's not about saying, I want it. It's about proving it with your effort. Your desires mean nothing if your discipline doesn't back them up. Your dreams don't care about your excuses. They respond to your actions. Every single day, you're either moving closer to the life you want or further away from it. There's no in between, no neutral ground. You either act or you avoid. You either build or you break. And that's the truth most people don't want to face. Because taking responsibility means you can't hide behind your excuses anymore. You can't blame your boss, your family, your past, or your luck. It's all on you. That's the weight and the beauty of transformation. You can't expect results from the work you didn't do. You can't expect progress from the effort you never gave. So many people want the reward without the risk, the comfort without the cost, the growth without the grind. But it doesn't work like that. If you want to change your life, you have to be willing to change your behavior. You have to stop doing what's easy and start doing what's effective. You have to trade in comfort for commitment, because change doesn't come from wishing things were different. It comes from making things different. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you take one step closer to your destiny. Every time you push through when it's uncomfortable, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your excuses. You can't talk your way into transformation. You have to act your way into it. Words are empty without execution. You can write all the goals you want, make all the vision boards you want, read all the motivational quotes in the world, but if your daily routine doesn't reflect your vision, you're lying to yourself. Real change is not emotional, it's practical. It's not about feeling like doing it, it's about doing it even when you don't feel like it. The world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards actions. The universe doesn't move for talkers, it moves for doers. So stop saying one day and start saying today. Stop waiting for the perfect time, because there isn't one. The time is now. The opportunity is already here, but you gotta move. The biggest gap in life is between what people say they want and what they actually do. You say you want to get fit, but you keep skipping the gym. You say you want to build a business, but you spend more time scrolling than strategizing. You say you want to be great, but you keep choosing comfort over commitment. You say you want to change, but your habits tell the truth. Your life will always mirror your actions, not your intentions. You can't lie to your grind. You can't fake consistency. Either you're putting in the work or you're not. And the crazy part is, deep down, you already know the truth. You know when you're giving, it's your all, and when you're holding back. You know when you're focused and when you're distracted. You know when you're serious and when you're just talking. Transformation demands movement. It demands consistency. You can't expect a new outcome from the same effort. Every day, you're planting seeds with your actions. If you plant laziness, don't expect success to grow. If you plant excuses, don't expect excellence to show up. What you plant is what you produce. So stop complaining about what's not growing in your life and start changing what you're planting. Start showing up differently. Start acting like the person you say you want to become. Because if your actions don't align with your desires, your words mean nothing. You can't say you want peace and keep entertaining chaos. You can't say you want success and keep wasting time. You can't say you want change and keep making the same choices. Life is always watching your behavior. It's responding to your energy. You can't attract a new level with old habits. You have to evolve. You have to grow. You have to become disciplined enough to say no to what doesn't serve you and focused enough to say yes to what moves you forward. That's where transformation begins, in the daily decisions, in the small moments, in the unseen hours when nobody's watching. You can't keep doing the bare minimum and expect maximum results. You can't keep saying, I'm trying, when you know you're not giving your best. You have to raise your standard. You have to get to a point where average is no longer acceptable. When you wake up every morning, your actions should scream your goals. Your effort should speak louder than your excuses. Every single day you have a choice to repeat the same cycle or to rewrite your story. You can't rewrite your story if you keep living by the same script. You have to move different, think different, work different. You have to train your mind to do what your emotions don't want to do, because your emotions will lie to you. They'll tell you you're tired, you're not ready, it's too hard. But your discipline tells the truth. Your discipline reminds you why you started. Your discipline shows up even when you don't feel like it. That's how change happens. Not overnight, but over time, through repetition, through consistency, through a relentless commitment to growth. Every great person you admire didn't get there by talking. They got there by acting. They didn't just dream about it. They sacrificed for it. They didn't wait until it felt right. They moved until it worked. And that's the mindset you need. Because if you keep waiting to feel ready, you'll never start. You have to take action, even when you're scared, even when it's uncertain, even when nobody else believes in you. You have to move, because movement creates momentum. And momentum changes everything. Your actions are your loudest voice. You don't have to prove your worth to anybody. Just let your work speak. Let your results speak. Let your consistency speak. The people who doubted you, the ones who said you couldn't do it, they'll see it when you do it. But it starts with you making that decision to stop talking and start moving. It starts with you realizing that your goals don't care about how you feel. They care about what you do. You can't wait for motivation. You have to create it through action. So every single day, ask yourself, do my actions reflect my goals? Do my choices align with my dreams? Because if the answer is no, then you already know what needs to change. You already know that transformation isn't magic, it's movement. It's in the discipline, the effort, the sweat, the grind. It's in showing up when you don't want to. It's in taking one more step when you feel like stopping. Because in the end, the only thing that separates those who change from those who stay the same is action. Everything in your life begins with the way you think. The moment you shift your mindset, you shift your entire reality. You see, most people stay stuck not because they lack ability, but because they lack perspective. They keep focusing on what's wrong instead of what's possible. They wake up every day talking about their problems, replaying their pain, and reliving their disappointments. And what you focus on grows. If you feed your mind negativity, it will multiply. If you keep seeing yourself as a victim, you'll attract more situations that make you feel powerless. Your mindset is the foundation of your life. You can't build success on a broken mindset. You can't expect growth if you keep watering fear and doubt. Everything begins in your head before it becomes real in your hands. When you change how you think, you change how you move. You start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You start to see lessons where others see losses. It's not that your problems disappear. It's that your perspective gives you power over them. The same storm that destroys one person can build another, depending on how they see it. Two people can go through the exact same pain, and one will break while the other will build. The difference isn't the pain. It's the mindset. It's the way you interpret the situation, the way you talk to yourself through it, the way you decide to respond instead of react. You have to train your mind to look for growth, not grief, to look for progress, not pity, to look for possibilities, not problems. Because the truth is, you can't live a positive life with a negative mindset. Every time you focus on what's missing, you blind yourself to what's possible. Every time you focus on what you can't do, you forget what you can do. That's why change always starts internally. Before you get a new job, before you find new people, before you change your environment, you gotta change your inner conversation. You gotta stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I can learn. You gotta stop saying, it's too hard, and start saying, I'll get stronger. You gotta stop saying, I don't have what it takes, and start saying, I'll develop what it takes. Your mindset sets the direction of your life. If you think small, you'll live small. If you think big, you'll start to move big. The mind is powerful. It's either your weapon or your weakness. It can work for you or against you. Most people let it work against them because they never take control of it. They let fear make their decisions. They let doubt stop their progress. They let comparison kill their confidence. But if you can control your thoughts, you can control your life. Because what you think, you believe, and what you believe, you become. It's time to start feeding your mind with the right things. Stop scrolling through negativity. Stop surrounding yourself with people who complain. Stop consuming content that kills your confidence. Protect your mental space like your life depends on it. Because it does. You become what you consume. Every word, every thought, every influence you allow in shapes who you are becoming. You can't expect to think like a winner if you're constantly listening to losers. You can't expect to rise when your environment is built to keep you comfortable. You have to choose what you let in. You have to create an environment that fuels your focus and strengthens your mindset. When you face challenges, your mindset determines your next move. Some people see struggle and say, why me? Others see the same struggle and say, try me. That's the power of perspective. The problem isn't always the problem. The problem is how you see it. If you see every obstacle as a dead end, you'll stop moving. But if you see every obstacle as a lesson, you'll keep growing. Life isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. Every setback is a setup for something greater, but only if your mind is open enough to see it. You have to stop letting negative thoughts rent space in your head. You have to take authority over what you allow yourself to think. Your brain will always believe what you tell it most. So if you keep telling yourself you're not enough, you'll live like you're not enough. If you keep telling yourself you can't make it, you'll stop before you even start. You have to replace those thoughts with power. You have to remind yourself daily who you are, what you're capable of, and why you started. You have to speak life into yourself even when it feels dark. You can't wait for people to motivate you. You got to become your own motivation. Every champion was built in their mind first. Before they won in the world, they won in their thoughts. Before they changed their results, they changed their self-belief. Because once you believe something strong enough, your actions start aligning with it. You stop making decisions from fear and start making them from faith. You stop worrying about what could go wrong and start preparing for what could go right. You stop waiting for permission and start creating your own opportunities. That's the mindset that separates the average from the extraordinary. You have to learn how to talk back to your doubts. When your mind says, you can't, you answer, watch me. When your mind says, you're not ready, you answer, I'll prepare. When your mind says, it's too late, you answer, I'm just getting started. You can't let fear have the final word. You can't let anxiety lead your decisions. You have to be louder than your limitations. You have to take control of your inner voice because it will either destroy you or drive you. Your mindset decides how you respond when life hits you, because life will hit you. That's guaranteed. You'll fail. You'll fall. You'll feel lost. But if your mindset is strong, you'll use failure as feedback. You'll use pain as purpose. You'll use pressure as preparation. A weak mindset crumbles under pressure, but a strong one uses it to grow. Every tough situation becomes a test to prove your strength. That's how growth happens. Not when everything is easy, but when everything is hard and you choose to keep going anyway. You have to train your mind every day just like you train your body. You don't build mental toughness once, you build it daily. You do it through discipline, through gratitude, through focus. You start each day with intention. You set your thoughts on what you want to create, not what you want to avoid. You program your mind for progress because your mind listens to what you repeatedly say and think. The more you focus on solutions, the more your brain finds them. The more you focus on what's possible, the more possibilities appear. Don't let negativity dictate your destiny. You can't rise if you keep thinking on a low level. You can't win if you keep seeing yourself as someone who always loses. You have to change the story you tell yourself, because your story shapes your strategy. If your story is, I always fail, your brain will stop trying. If your story is, I can grow, your brain will start finding ways to win. That's why self-talk matters. That's why belief matters. Because before the world believes in you, you gotta believe in yourself. When you focus on possibilities, your energy changes. You walk different, you talk different. You make decisions from a place of power instead of fear. You start seeing every challenge as a chance to rise. You start believing that everything you need is already within you. That's the mindset of a winner, not someone who never faces pain, but someone who refuses to let pain define them. Someone who chooses to see potential where others see problems. Someone who knows that growth begins the moment you stop saying, I can't, and start asking, how can I? Because once you make that shift, there's nothing that can stop you from becoming everything you were meant to be.